Like people that have underlying mental health illnesses like PTSD and depression are more prone to be reactive, or their amygdala takes over. And I have PTSD and depression, so I've struggled with this for so long, and I thought there was just something wrong with me, and I was always like, why can't I get a hold of my emotions? Why do I feel like it's so intense? But after learning this and being able to use certain tools in my life to take control of my emotions and not act on them, has been really amazing for me. It's made me feel so much better about myself and not have this anger or hatred or misunderstanding, like being judgmental towards myself. And I've really love that, so I really wanted to share it with you all. Welcome to Brick Breakers, the podcast where we break down the walls holding us back from becoming the strongest, happiest version of ourselves. Now let's start breaking those walls. Hey everyone, welcome back to Brick Breakers. So I am in my office. Excuse if the ring light is a bit distracting on the reflection of my glasses. There's nothing I can do about that. If I look up, it's because that's where the monitor is, so I can see how the video is looking. So I don't know how long it's been since I've been back, and I've recorded, 2 to 3 episodes this year. I'm excited that this is going to be like my 4th. I'm having the audio a little bit louder this time. I feel like last time it was a bit quiet. So still figuring everything out. I'll invest in the future into more podcast equipment. For now, I'm going to work with this microphone that was like $25. The baby's being taken care of dad, and if you hear some running around, that's my dog playing with his ball, and I guess he's Andrew's throwing it down the hall for him and getting some energy out because our dog is hyper. He's a border collie. And so the topic of today's episode is emotional regulation, how to stop sabotaging your life. And I really wanted to talk about this. I usually come up with a topic based off of what I'm going through life, or if not, I just come up with something. But I really feel like this is meaningful to me because I've been through a lot of trauma, and I didn't know that. We're going to get a little bit scientifical here. I do want to say before I jump in and start breaking things down, because I'm getting ahead of myself and I'm getting excited. If you're someone that struggles with regulating your emotions, if you're into growing yourself, if you're just interested in the topic of emotional regulation, what it is, then this episode is for you. I'm going to be using examples in my life of what I could have done instead of letting my emotions take over. And I feel like a lot of us can relate to that, where we don't even know what's going on. In a quick snap of fingers, we feel just huge surge of emotions, whether that's happy, sad, anger, and we can be in control of our emotions. Because when we're not in control of our emotions, I don't know if you guys have seen some videos of people just blowing up and saying the wrong things, doing the wrong things, and just making a fool out of themselves. And if they were able to tune in with themselves and feel that something was going to come up for them and they were going to say something they're going to regret, which there's a scientific reasoning behind that, which I'm super excited to get into, because when I learned about this, I was like, wow, I understand myself better, and all that anger and hatred that I had, I don't have that anymore, because I give myself compassion. Because the science, guys, it's just a snippet, but I'm super excited to tell you guys about it. And let's see here. I have my tablet right here in my lap, so I have a lot of little quick notes that I want to share with you all. But we're just going to be talking about emotional regulation today, which is such a big thing, and it's great to know this so you're able to communicate better in your relationships, so you feel better like about yourself and you understand yourself more and your emotions. And I am going to be using the metaphor of being the captain of a ship, and your emotions are the waves and you just steer through it. So that's going to be how this podcast is going to go today. I am dressed up because I'm going to go to my friend's birthday. I'm super excited because I haven't gone out in a while, and the party is like in 10 minutes, but it's a Mexican party. Mexican parties usually start a little later. So I'm just going to record this podcast and then head on over there. Hopefully it's not too long of a podcast, like an hour long, more like a 20-30 minute podcast. So let's jump right into it. So a lot of people struggle with emotional dysregulation, and it's pretty much when you're not in control of your emotions and your emotions take over your actions. And people young and old can face this. And I have a list here of why it's important to be able to, well, I feel like it's obvious why it's important to be able to regulate your emotions, but right here it says, for your mental health, reduces anxiety, depression, stress, increases resilience, relationships, better communication, reduce conflict, stronger connections. For decision making, you're able to think clearer, avoid impulsive choices. For physical health, you don't have as much chronic stress from poor regulation that can impact your body. And then you're able to achieve goals. So you stay motivated, bounce back from setbacks. So an example is if you have a disagreement with your partner, instead of it escalating, you can have a calm conversation. And for me in my past, I've been with my partner for 8 years, and I would get really upset, but I would never understand why I was upset. So I'd take it out on him and I'd be angry about, I don't know, just whatever was happening, a small little thing that happened. Let's say like he forgot my sweater in the house and didn't bring it to the car or something. And I was actually upset because I had a disagreement with a close friend and my dad. And I felt like I was, I don't know, just feeling like everywhere I went, nothing was going right. And I was always arguing with people or something like that. Like there's always a hidden meaning behind, well, not always, but usually there can be a hidden meaning behind what you're feeling. And what's really cool is that you can feel it in your body. Like when your body's starting to feel anger or sadness, you'll feel something like pressure in your chest or weight in your neck or shoulders, and that is a signal that you're going to start to feel your emotion very strongly and possibly lose control of your actions. So I think right now would be a great time to mention a little bit of the science behind emotional regulation, because the next section I have here is why do we struggle. So you have the amygdala, the hippocampus, and the prefrontal cortex, PFC. So the amygdala is the alarm system in your brain. So it alerts you when something's like if a car is coming too close to you, like, hey, a car might hit you, so move out the way. Or it tells you, hey, this person is like their face is scrunching, they're closing their fist, like they're getting ready to fight. So your amygdala tells you, hey, let's go into fight or flight. Like we either need to fight this person or leave this confrontation. Like this is gonna get serious. Or it's an example. Even you can even go into fight and flight when you're going on stage. You're not actually gonna fight a person, but just going on stage is giving you like this adrenaline and cortisol, which is a hormone, and cortisol is like the stress hormone. And when you have too much cortisol and adrenaline, it could be really bad for your body, but we'll get more into that later. So if your amygdala is always taking charge and always in control, that's when you react more and you're more impulsive. And your amygdala can actually become in charge, which you don't want that. You don't want your amygdala to be in charge. You want your prefrontal cortex to be in charge because that's the area of your brain that is reasoning and logic. The hippocampus is just the librarian, the one that keeps track of like, hey, this person looks sad, or this person. And I had an argument with my cousin. So when you see your cousin, you're reminded of, oh, there's tension between my cousin. Like the librarian keeps track. It's like the memory. So you want your prefrontal cortex, the PFC, to be in charge, not your amygdala. And the next section that I had here was why do we struggle? So some common challenges is you're not taught to effectively regulate your emotions in childhood, past traumas, difficulties like upbringing, difficulties in your upbringing can cause you to struggle with emotional regulation. Also, biological predisposition, current stress levels, trying to avoid uncomfortable emotions, lack of awareness of what you're feeling. And these are just some examples of why you may struggle with emotional regulation, which to me was like kind of mind blowing because I've struggled so much with regulating my emotions. I thought I was always just crazy, and to see that there's a reasoning. Like people that have underlying mental health illnesses like PTSD and depression are more prone to be reactive, or their amygdala takes over. And I have PTSD and depression, so I've struggled with this for so long, and I thought there was just something wrong with me, and I was always like, why can't I get a hold of my emotions? Why do I feel like it's so intense? But after learning this and being able to use certain tools in my life to take control of my emotions and not act on them, has been really amazing for me. It's made me feel so much better about myself and not have this anger or hatred or misunderstanding, like being judgmental towards myself. And I've really loved that. So I really wanted to share it with you all. So why do we struggle? I didn't know that your amygdala could get bigger. And it's not a good thing because you want your prefrontal cortex to get bigger. And the reasoning for why your amygdala becomes in charge is because when you're young, you don't have, your amygdala isn't really working, which is telling you like, hey, careful around these people, or your alarm isn't going off because you have your guardian's taking care of you. You don't have these things to worry about. So when you're a child, your amygdala isn't as active. So then when you experience a lot of trauma, then your amygdala becomes active early on, and then that's what makes you have a hyperactive amygdala, which makes you be more impulsive or do things and say things that you didn't mean. And I had no idea. So I think that's very interesting. And the cool part is that you're able to, your brain is like, the word is plasticity. So you're able to grow neurons. At least I talked to my therapist, and she studied this years ago. But when I was doing research, they said you are able to grow neurons, but she was saying that it was something that was controversial and people weren't too sure. So I'm not sure where they are on that, but from what I read is you could grow neurons, which is just nerve cells that connect different parts of your body. So they make it so you're able to breathe, walk, talk, and I guess they're like electric currents. I've just been learning this, so this is all new to me. If this is too much, take it a little step at a time, because you'll get it. Like, I've only been learning this for the past week, but I've known about this for longer than that. It's just I've been deep diving because I really wanted to share this, and I feel that it would benefit so many people. Okay, so that's why we struggle. Now, the next part is practical strategies for emotional regulation. So I wanted to share 3 different strategies that you can use to regulate your emotions when you feel like those waves are really strong and your boat is going all over the place and you just can't get a hold of your emotions. You just can't get a hold of that steering wheel, and you feel like your emotions are going to just swallow you whole, and you're going to sink deep down and can't get out, can't catch that breath. Then these are 3 tips. There's so many tips, but here's 3 for you to get a hold of your emotions and not do something that you're going to regret. I'm sure you guys do a lot of these, like a lot of tips for emotional regulation, but let's dive in. The first one is mindfulness awareness. So your goal is to notice the emotions without judgment. And the way you do this is by simply breathing in and out, breathing exercises, holding in your breath, different breathing exercises, scan your body, observing your thoughts and feelings for a few moments. You can do this daily, every once in a while, just whenever you see fit. So you become you start observing how you're feeling and what's coming up for you. But you do it without judging yourself. And for me, I used to judge myself all the time. I used to be like, why am I feeling this way? I shouldn't be feeling this way. This is not right for me to be thinking. But you have feelings for a reason. It brings something up for you. A certain event will bring something up for you. And in the past, I've been angry at myself, like I shouldn't be thinking this, I shouldn't be feeling this way. But after I became more compassionate and curious about my feelings and really unpacking it, then I was able to understand myself better and solve that problem. Or if I thought it was a problem, I'd solve it. Like for an example, growing up, I didn't get to like do dance and perform or any curricular activities or anything that costed money, and I really wanted to dance. And my husband's siblings, they're all his sisters are in dance, and I've gone to a lot of their dance shows, and I would always get really sad. Like, I'm happy for them that they're able to dance up there, but I'd get really sad and envious in a way, because I didn't get to live that or have that. And I always was angry at myself for having those feelings. Like, I don't want to feel envious. Like, I just want to be proud of them. I want to be happy for them. But really reflecting and understanding the grieving that I didn't get that, and not being angry at myself for these feelings coming up and me feeling sad whenever I watched a performance, and just accepting it and allowing myself to go through it without judging myself, I was able to feel compassionate for myself and not feel anger or hatred. And that's just an example. Like, I feel like I've gone through this a lot in my life, but when you're able to understand yourself better, it's really good for you, because then you won't have that anger and self-hatred. It's just something that I've learned and wanted to share. So strategy 2, cognitive reappraisal, changing your thinking. So your goal is to change unhelpful thoughts that drive intense emotions. And how you do this is you identify the thought linked to the emotion. So you ask, is this thought 100% true? And are there other ways to look at this? What would I tell a friend? So choose a more balanced thought. An example is, if you're in a traffic jam, your thought could be like, this is ruined, but then you reframe your thinking and say, it's okay, I'm delayed. Let's take this time to listen to a podcast or make a call. And this is really helpful to change your thinking, but it's so difficult in that moment, because in that moment you take into consideration different actions, different things that people said, different things that people are doing. And then you make the story in your head like, no, this person feels this way, or this person's thinking this about me, or this is what this person's feeling. But you don't really know what that person's feeling. So just take that time to step back out of your emotions, out of what you're going through, and look at it from a different point of view. I recently had a huge misunderstanding with my mother-in-law, because I felt like she felt one way and I felt a different way. And I really believed that, and I thought that, and I came forth with that, but that wasn't at all how she was thinking or feeling. She was thinking and feeling a completely different way, and we both had a misunderstanding. And if we both would have stepped back and been like, okay, well, I'm sure this person has the best intentions, and they have the best intentions, without thinking, okay, that's what they're thinking, that's what they're feeling, that's what they're saying, then we would have seen, okay, this is a misunderstanding. But it's an example. I'm not trying to share too much, because, some people are okay with sharing things about their lives and other people aren't okay. So I want to respect that space. But I thought it was kind of interesting, because sometimes we go into this, when people are upset, they go into this like drunk anger where they can't see anything or understand anything. They're just like angry and looking for why they're right. But like I mentioned, if it's taking a step back, having like that bird eyes view of the situation instead of just your point of view would really let you not get too caught up in your emotions and in your head, and just change your thinking. So I really love this cognitive reappraisal. And then the third strategy that I'm going to be talking about today is opposite action. So your goal is to act against unhelpful urges driven by emotions. And how you do this is identify emotions and urges. Sadness equals isolation. Do the opposite. Just connect with someone. So what I've done in the past whenever I'm really upset. I've just laid in my bed and I didn't want to do anything. I didn't want to get up. I didn't want to think positive or anything. But how is that going to help me? How is that going to benefit anyone if I just laid in my bed being sad? And it's okay to feel your feelings sometimes. Don't push your feelings away because that's just how you feel. But when you soak in it for way too long, it can be unhelpful. It just doesn't benefit anyone. So what I've been doing is, I really don't want to get out of this bed. I feel so hurt or so sad or whatever I'm going through. And then I just get up and start doing things, because action will make you feel better. And instead of just staying there in your bed or in whatever situation you're going through. My computer turned off, so I just logged in really quick. Hopefully my camera's still recording too, because it only records in like 20 minutes, but we're like in 22 minutes right now, so hopefully it's recording. So we are coming to an end now. I just want to say this is going to take practice. If you're new to emotional regulation, don't be hard on yourself. If you end up blowing up or having a meltdown, you're human. It's normal. I recommend you pick a strategy. You can Google some different strategies too, and then just practice it every once in a while. It's like that captain I mentioned. When you're going through your emotions, all those waves, then steer it and have something in place for you to lean on whenever you feel like you're going to lose the steering wheel and sink. And thank you all for joining me today. I feel like I shared everything I wanted to share, but at the same time, like, there's still so much I want to share. I am going to be heading out to this party. I've wanted to record this podcast for such a long time, and I love psychology. I love how the brain works, and this has been a game changer for me, and I wish that it's a game changer for you all. And I just want to like keep sharing and sharing, but really, this is the golden nuggets in this conversation, and I just feel like if I keep sharing, then I'm just gonna go on and on. Later in the future, I would love to open up more, be more detailed about a lot of my feelings and emotions and things that I have gone through, for you to really be able to understand where I'm coming from. But just know that I really struggled a lot with my emotions, and I don't know if it's a Hispanic thing, because I feel like on the television, like in novelas, Hispanic women are always seen as like snappy and like, don't tell me what to do, don't tell me what to say, like, let me be me, and they'll clap back at you. At least that's how I've experienced being Latina. But I don't know if it's like something from a Hispanic upbringing or a Latin upbringing, or if it's just, I don't know, me. So I've really changed, and I'm very thankful for the patience that my husband has had for me, because I've really struggled with identifying what the root cause of my emotions is, and being able to get a hold of the steering wheel and not let them define me or define me and make me judge myself or hate myself. So I really hope that this episode helped you guys. I can't wait for the next one. And share this with someone you think will benefit from it. Go give a rating to my Spotify version. This is gonna go on YouTube. I love that I'm doing videos now. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks for joining Brick Breakers, and keep breaking those walls.